What is going on, world, and welcome in to another day in which Dave Portnoy potentially has a championship triumph. That's right. The NCAA basketball finals are tonight. We got our title game set. Michigan set to take on Uconn. We got Rico Bosco filling in for Brandon Walker on today's show. John Fanta is going to stop by later on. And then a little dash of football this offseason. And Coach Gruden comes by to talk about the quarterback camps he's been doing with tomorrow's stars. It all starts now on Wake Up Barstool. What's happening, y'all? Welcome in. Wake Up Barstool. Look at these guys right here next to me. T-Bob Baby, Rico Bosco, Dave Portnoy. We got Meek Phil and Liam Blutman in the studio as well. We might have the two hottest guys on the planet right now. Rico with a massive Final Four weekend, a lot to get to. And Dave, your Michigan Wolverines, Arizona, best two teams in the country. It was going to be a coin flip, right? Wrong. Michigan dominates, Dave. How are we feeling today?
I feel good. Listen, UConn, I'm never going to look past UConn. I've had a long storied history with UConn. I'm a New England guy, and when Michigan hasn't been involved, I've been rooting for UConn. And UConn, the proof is in the pudding. They've been the most dominant college basketball team in recent memory. It's not even particularly close, what I see. They've won like 6 or 7, six titles? How many titles they got? Six?
Six.
In the closest team has 3 in that span. So this is the blue blood. This is the premier program that Michigan will be going up against. So I'm sure a lot of people think this is just I'm going to say a word I don't know how to say, so I'm not going to say it, like confidently, when it's just, it's over already. Michigan's 7.5-point favorites. They just absolutely obliterated Arizona. I was in the elevator with an assistant coach of Illinois. Keep your stuff in your pants, Bosco. And we're riding the elevator, and he basically said to me, he goes, "You guys are unbeatable." He's like, "You guys are a juggernaut. You're one of the greatest teams, institutions I've ever seen." So, I mean, a 7.5-point favorite. It's a huge spread. I think everybody thinks Michigan will win this game. They're clearly the better team on paper. There are no weaknesses. Lenborg's a little gimpy, but it's UConn. That's a big but. I tweeted it in 2016.
Yep.
The things I love about UConn, you got to kill them 1,000 times before they die in March. So I am not putting this already in the W. We are the better team. I think we're going to win the game, but there's a huge X factor, and I believe in mystique and all that stuff, and that's the Huskies. I don't care what their record is. I don't care what the spread is. This is a little different. It's a dangerous animal we're dealing with today. I've been on the other side. It's like when you play the Patriots. It's like, oh, the mystique, and now Seattle killed us. So that's what I hope happens this game, but you got to be careful anytime you take the court versus the Huskies.
Yeah, they pulled off the biggest upset in '99 in championship game history, a 9.5-point dog against Duke. I remember the game. He tweeted that, watching it. It was before I was ever even involved. It was the Cincinnati game, Dave, that went, 5 overtimes? Remember that in the conference?
I don't remember. Maybe that's what I was tweeting.
In the American tournament, I'm like 99% positive it was that one. 5 overtimes, the full court shot. It was lunacy with UConn.
It's interesting that you mentioned that 99 Duke team, though, because I was reading this morning, like to Dave's point, this Michigan team is historically good. They're historically dominant.
The best team in the history of college basketball. Everyone's throwing all these stats. Throw stats out the window. This is the best team in the history of college basketball. If they win this game, I'd put them up against anybody. And again, you have to just start looking at the entire school and what Michigan does if they win this. Next weekend, it's the hockey finals, and they'd be the first team in the college football era, in the playoff era, to capture a basketball and a football championship. So these are lofty days for the Block M. There's always been a lot of, hey, we're the best school, Well, this ends that debate for now, right? If Michigan wins this, there's Michigan, and everyone's trying to play catch-up.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, because you mentioned, like I said, on paper, analytically, Ken Palm, all these advanced metrics, Michigan statistically one of, if not the best team that we've ever seen. However,
they could play with all these teams.
Look at point differential, NCAA tournament history. To this point, Michigan is second all-time to who? 99 Duke. Who did 99 Duke lose to? Uconn. Also, Michigan, no stranger to the national championship games. I think I read they're like 8-1 in semifinals, 1-6 in championships. UConn's kind of the inverse. So again, everything on paper points Wolverines, but there's just so much mystique and kind of ethereal championship medal that for whatever reason, modern day Uconn just brings to bear.
No, he would nail. I mean, listen, he said it a million times and he nailed it. Any other team, he would already have like the shirts up. He'd be cutting the nets. It'd be a victory parade all day. Any other school, it's UConn. That's what it is. That's what's going to make you fear that it's UConn. 7.5. You told anybody I'm a 7.5 point favorite against somebody on Monday night. Give me the t-shirts. Cut down the nets. It's all over. But it's UConn. You got to kill them 5 times. Hurley obviously has the pedigree. Like things just go right for UConn. Look at the Duke game. So that's where it is.
Now, I will say Michigan's back to playing their best basketball of the year again. The Lendenborg injury, we'll see.
Yeah, he didn't look good walking through the hallway.
But what's that?
He did not look good in that video I sent walking through the hallway.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah, he's going to play clearly, but how effective he'll be, we'll find out. Now, can they win without him? Clearly, they absolutely smashed Arizona pretty much without him. But this is Michigan started the season, and they were just beating good teams by like 30, 40. They're sort of back to that. Again, I am cautiously confident that we will finish the deal. This would be a heartbreaking loss for this team. And in this new era, you have a lot of people, I always find it funny when you're in my shoes, right? And you've had as much success as I've had. You've seen all the excuses, all the crybabies, all this is unfair. And the one that you're seeing a lot is there's a lot of transfers on this team. I've seen Michigan State and that Sweet 16 Tommy and all his guys is like, oh, they bought this team. Yeah. That's what you do in this era. What are you going to sit back and build teams and try to keep seniors for 4 years and not get transfers? You'll never sniff this. You'll be Sweet 16 Tommy every single year. So of course there's transfers, but it puts the pressure to win because year to year you don't know what your team's going to look like the next year. So a lot of pressure. It's all on the Wolverines. All the pressure's on the Wolverines tonight.
Rico, I want to ask you this because when I watched that Michigan game this weekend, like. Yes, the 3-point shooting compared to Arizona is something that definitely loomed large. We talked about that going in. Like, Mara had a career game. But everything with Michigan to me was that defense. I mean, absolutely suffocating, dude. And the discipline, even up 20, 30, still not giving up an inch. Tenacity. How does a UConn team that really kind of goes the way of Terrace Reed a lot of time, hasn't shot well.
Former Michigan player, by the way.
How in the world does a UConn team try to find success against that block defense?
I really don't know. It's interesting you touched on the defense. It looked like Michigan, Arizona can shoot that was always their thing. They can shoot the three. They don't want to rely on taking a ton.
Yes.
Michigan was pushing them out, not letting them get into the lane. They made them shoot a ton of threes. I don't know what UConn can do to get into Michigan's defense if they play like that. But I know Hurley's an out-of-this-world coach. He's probably got something cooked up, and he's going to try, but I don't know if it's going to happen because Michigan, Saturday night, they would have beat the dream team the way they were playing.
It was insane.
It was insane. I mean, and Arizona's unbelievable, and at one point, Dave's like, they quit. And I know Tommy Lloyd is saying he didn't take Carolina. I turned to somebody. I'm like, did he take Carolina? Because
he turned to me.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, I mean, it looked like they quit. Like, they were just pulverizing them.
Well, I mean, that's what a defense like that does. Yeah. Like, I mean, we overuse a lot of terms, and you always hear, like, suffocating defense.
Yep.
Every now and then you actually see it. That's what you saw this weekend. Leah, Miki, haven't talked to y'all yet today. Y'all's biggest takeaway from Final Four now heading into tonight's game.
We haven't talked about the UConn-Illinois game at all. That was actually a good game compared to...
Yeah.
But even the score wasn't indicative of that. Like, UConn was in total control of that entire game.
They were in control, but it was a 4-point game. But I want to say, like, what, 6-ish minutes?
Yeah, no, they
ago?
made a little run, but it really felt like UConn. They were never going to get over the hump of UConn. UConn was the better team on the floor, and I said it, Meek, and people have taken objection to it. I'm in an Illinois hotel. I didn't plan that, but they're the classic happy to be here team. They were having a party, a celebration. They were still in the bars when I got home. Some teams come to win a tournament, Michigan, UConn. Some come to participate in a tournament. That was Illinois. That was Arizona. Participators.
It may take another 25 years for them to reach another Final Four. Who knows?
It may. But they got a great coach. You don't know. They got all these Euros. Who knows? Good for them. By the way, people think I give backhanded compliments. I do not. I very much, congratulations to the Illini. That was a great season. They should be happy. They're happy to be here type of team. So they had a great season. Now, I don't know how that is backhanded compliment.
I will say that one thing in the Illinois game, and I agree, you could say, oh, it was a close game. UConn won that game start to finish. But with like 4 or 5 minutes, whatever it was, they cut it to 8. And Mutt's sweating it out, obviously, with UConn. And they had 2 free throws. They cut it to 8. And I go, UConn's going to miss here. Illinois is going to hit a 3. Cut this to 5, and the place is going to go berserk. Just after the 8, or the 8 or 6, whatever they cut it to, they commit that foul in the backcourt 600 feet from the basket. And put it back to 10. And you're like, that was kind of it. You needed to miss, and it's 90 feet away. He fouls him. It's like, what are you doing?
It felt like
what did that Mutt story have to do with anything?
Well, he's rooting for UConn.
Yeah, Mutt sweating it out.
I was just telling him, you're going to be in a war in about 4 seconds.
He's setting the scene.
You predicted a situation that did not happen, you mean?
Yeah, but the point, no. But the point is that, like, that's kind of the story of the Illini that game, was having the opportunity right there on the edge, getting to the precipice, and they could never make the play.
Well, yeah.
They could never make the shot.
I argue is when you're predicting that they're going to miss a free throw and then go hit a 3, and none of that even transpires. I don't know.
The foul derailed the plan. He did hit the 2. He committed the foul. So we'll never know. I got half the story.
I'll say this. That really felt like the intangibles that we're talking about with UConn was a massive difference. They looked so much more comfortable and confident than did the Illini. All right. When we get back, more championship talk. Rico's big weekend. Fanta's coming up. Don't go anywhere. More Wub.
Did Brandon tactically miss a big Michigan show?
Yeah. Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool. How curiously, of no Brandon Walker today, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. A tactical mastermind, much like the 2 coaches in the national championship game.
Yeah, listen, I know he is in Indianapolis, so I'll give him a little pass. They had to do a live show with mostly sports, but there's nothing he's rooting against more than Michigan to win, as he's watched me collect title after title, and this is a definitive championship opportunity for Michigan, as we've said, to reestablish ourselves really as the premier athletic program in the country. So a lucky break that he's not here, for sure.
Speaking of Indianapolis, guys, y'all are both there this weekend. Rico, we can get into it. Absolutely dialed. How about Rico's stat line over the weekend? Tate put out 75 million impressions, 30 coaches' numbers collected, 10 jumpsuits on the way. We got not 1, but 2 whales landed. Rico, you want to talk about lava hot? Our guy, Rico Bosco. Look, you set the stage. You go into a moment like this, Rico, there's a lot of expectation for you. The world's watching you. You came through in a big way. You weren't scared of the stage. You didn't get freaked out by playing in a football stadium. You got it done. Good job, babe.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. I texted Titus last night. I said, no one has ever been more right about what you've said about Indianapolis. I loved that city for a Final Four. Absolutely loved it. Walkable, good neighborhood stuff. It's not taken over of chains and things like that. Nice people. Great stadium built for the Final Four. Sometimes you go to the Super Bowl.
We need binoculars to see the game from the suite. You need binoculars to see the game from the suite.
I was in the lower level compared to Houston and New Orleans. That stadium is better for regular seating. And I didn't think the suite was that bad for far away. I really didn't.
It's pretty far up. And then you ask Bosco, give him credit for getting the coaches' numbers, I guess. I don't know who else is doing that, and if he's competing with other people for that. But he does that at that's just what he does. Now, who gets, and great job getting Calipari, which is stunning, the things he said about him. I think Todd Golden was probably more of a me get, if we're being honest.
Did you ask him to go on? Well, you're right. But did you ask him to go on the show?
No, I didn't. But like he sent me a selfie of him and I. Like he's a big Dave Portnoy guy. But that's not the point here nor there. Who gets the credit for this Bosco weekend? Is it Tate? Oh. Is it me? Like Bosco's just existing in a world like he's always existed, and we just documented it. So I'm not sure, like, hey, hell of a weekend. You got all these impressions, Bosco. Bosco's just being Bosco. Tate did a great job of documenting it, but I'm the maestro who employs these circus animals. So who gets
it's a team effort.
Who gets the credit?
Team effort. You have said 1 in a quadrillion guy.
Yes, no doubt.
There you go.
Tate did an unbelievable job.
What is Tate? I mean, you didn't like pick up your game. You weren't like, oh, I gotta throw 99.
No,
you didn't come out of the bullpen and be like, I have my great stuff this weekend. You were just you.
Yeah, but just him is pretty damn good. He just needed.
But why does he get credit for that?
Because what is Tate without Bosco here? He's not 75 million
impressions. They need each other.
Exactly. But look,
you needed to document that because all that stuff would have been secondhand. Dan said it too. Running through the rain. The stupid interactions, the funny pictures like that.
The stage shoe.
Yeah. What about the shoe throw? Does the shoe throw happen without a camera in your face?
Probably not. No. Exactly. So
look.
Team effort.
By the way, he looked real happy here. Look at this glare from Nate Oates.
He's shoving a camera in his face.
Rightfully so. If you have a psychopath that you try to keep at an arm's length, interrupt your dinner with your family, and I don't know who that lady was, but like a lot of people saying you exposed things. I don't know.
Any surprise though that Nate Oates comes and gets the big time extension?
No
immediately
surprise.
Afterwards.
No,
that's what I'm
I have
saying.
a question.
Yes.
Why do we get Coach Calipari on the airways? Why do we get Todd Golden? We've never had his number one guy, Nate Oates, interact with us except in these random drive-by incidents at dinner and things of that nature. I'm curious for Mr. Bosco, who had this great weekend, again, just existing. Where is Nate Oates in this ecosystem of ours?
Let me. What do you want to say? What should I say?
I can ask if they said just.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you say that. All right, ask.
All right, I'll ask. I've asked in the past, for the record.
So then why do you say?
He's got to come on then. That's crazy. He's shown so much. He's got to come on.
Yeah. So what does that mean? I'll ask, and then you turn around and say I have asked. So he said no.
I think it was already booked at that time. I would say, yeah.
Yeah, conflicting.
What, you say that's the answer you just made up in your head as you're going?
He had a conflicting schedule.
You looked around, you had the Tweety birds in your head flying around, and you said, I've asked. I would say he was booked at the time he's asked. So all these white whales, the Caliparis, the Todd Goldens, they're just not booked.
No. They weren't at that time. I made it work.
I think I speak for Dave and Big Cat here. They'll do any time, any day for Nate Oates.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
All right.
I need to bring this one up. The Caitlin Clark debacle.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, T-Bob.
So Magic Johnson says on national TV during the 2 games, he's in a suite with Caitlin Clark that night. The Michigan-Arizona game gets out of hand. That second half should have been spent trying to find Caitlin Clark.
Bosco doesn't
find
care.
The suite.
Bosco doesn't care.
I'm not busting. I already got ragged for busting into dinner. I'm going to bust into a suite? Somebody I'd never met before?
My relationship that's been flushed down the toilet. He does not. For those who don't know, and it's a little bit of a story, I don't blame Caitlin, but I've been a diehard Caitlin Clark fan. I have her merch. We used to text little jokes back and forth. Great relationship. One of my most prized relationships. And Bosco flushed it down the toilet in the span of 3 minutes. He doesn't even care. We're at dinner, and he's such a Fran McCaffrey guy. Fine. I like Fran McCaffrey, but he hated on the Iowa coach because of that. The Iowa coach has a great run, and Bosco's who's been obliterating Iowa fans, saying grass isn't greener. And we're like, well, what are you going to say now? Well, then he puts me on the phone with a McCaffrey. I didn't even know who it was at dinner. He sticks a phone in front of my face. I'm like, who am I even talking to? It was a McCaffrey. Next thing I know, I'm blocked by Caitlin Clark.
No. What?
Told it's not blocked.
What do you mean by that?
I don't think you're blocked. Try again.
If it goes from blue to green,
it can go to green on one if you're in the air or things like that.
All right, I'll text her right now.
Yeah, you should text her right now. That's a good point, because Rico's right.
Wrong,
sometimes the service, how it goes, it gets sent as a text message. It's not the same thing. We'll see if you're blocked.
But then I DM'd her too, and she didn't get back to me. I was trying to do a pizza review. It's over. You cost me the relation. I'll still root for her. I still love watching her play. But if I ever cost you a big-time relationship like this, you try to murder somebody. And I don't mean that like figuratively. I mean, you would do another one of your attempted murder stunts. Yes, viewers at home on the treadmill, this is what this guy does. He goes so far, but he commits crimes.
Passionate.
He also knows, passionately, exactly. He knows college ball. Hey, Dave, how about this? A lot was made.
Last thing, am I blocked? We'll see what happens.
I'm very excited to see where this goes during the morning today.
Did it send us green or blue?
It's blue right now.
Okay, we're looking good. Things are looking up for Rico. Told you, maybe not blocked. Hey, wait, Dave, what's going on in the suite tonight? How was it this weekend? I know there's a lot of run up to the suite. Where were you going to be? What was the food going to be? It all went well, I assume. What's going on tonight?
Yeah, listen, it's really high, but it was a good seat. We had 19 people there. We're going to have far fewer at this game. I know myself, Mutt. I can't believe I'm with Mutt. Mutt, you want to hear a Mutt story?
Yeah, give us a Mutt story.
So Mutt is here because he's Uconn. So it's going to be I in the suite, Jeff D. Lowe, I believe. Jack Mack's going to be in the suite. But anyways,
Greer.
so what?
Greer, too, no?
Greer, yep.
Salute
Most
to
people,
service.
Greer, Michigan fan, most people have left. So I asked I wanted Italian last night for dinner, okay? So I tweeted out, I said, give me the best Italian restaurant in Indianapolis. Iozano's, I believe.
Good name.
Iozzo's. Very good. People reach out. Hard to get a reservation. Had to throw around my weight a little bit. Call and be like, any way you can make room for Dave? So they did. They gave me a table of 4. So it's going to be me, Austin, my right-hand man. I invited Mutt because I'm a nice guy, and Pat, our security. Well, Mutt invites Jeff D. Lowe without telling anybody. So we show up with 5. Poor Pat had to sit in the car while we ate dinner because Mutt kicked him out. Mutt just has no respect for anybody.
So Mutt already almost screwed himself out of the suite invite originally. He stalked Dan Hurley to get back in. Is he remaining in even after the reservation debacle?
It's me versus Mutt, and I'll tell you, I don't know whether it's, and I say this without an ounce of sarcasm, I think it's in Mutt's best interest that Michigan wins tonight. Even though he is a gigantic Uconn fan, if it's a close game and he's rooting in my face, I shouldn't hold that grudge. You should be allowed to root for your team. But I'm already on the fence and wavering with Mutt. So for his future at this company, it's definitely his best interest if Michigan just wins the game.
I think he's got the bad shoulder, but I could see him just off
my
level.
God, dude.
Did you see Jeff D. Lowe, that clip? We could get the clip of Jeff D. Lowe talking about Kirk at dinner.
All right. What a particularly
I didn't hear that.
Barstool experience for Mutt. All right, look, John Fanta coming up next. Let's get into the game a little bit, the elements, the keys to the game, the matchups to watch, all on Wub.
Like, you couldn't have created a
It was unbelievable.
It's Championship Day, March Madness, college basketball, and who better to talk hoops? We got Rico Bosco, then his best college basketball friend, NBC Sports, Johnny Fanta. John, what's up, man? Thank you so much. I know it's crazy busy. You're back home. How we feeling? Championship Day, another season about to be in the books.
Clash of the heavyweights tonight, gentlemen. This is going to be so fun. Dave, I love how much you respect Uconn, and they've more than earned that respect. The Wolverines, well, they've got the respect to everybody too, and they're 36-3. What they did on Saturday night was nothing short of unbelievable. That was one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen in the NCAA tournament. You take the analytical #1 team in the country, you take them out back, and you beat them that way. That was just an all-out display. Adai Mara told me he took a 3-hour siesta ahead of this game. Talk about a boss, takes a 3-hour nap, then shows up, goes off for 26-9. I mean, he is an absolute force. And so tonight, on the other side, it's the 3-point shooting attack. I can't wait for this matchup, guys. Big Ten, Big East, it's what it's all about.
And a lot of people forget that Arizona game. It's easy after you see the blowout. The money on that game switched. Arizona went off as a 1.5 point favorite in that game. So, I mean, it truly was one of the great performances in Final Four history, but you got to finish it off. Now that I got you on, Johnny, I know you're a basketball coach. What do you think if I don't know if you can see this shirt here. Can you see this one? Jesus Christ. We got this one warming up in the bullpen right now.
Come on.
Exclusive drop.
We got this one warming up. We got it warming up. I think if we pull this off, when this goes on sale, add a little brother to it. But we're doing it for all the Big Ten, Johnny. We're doing it for the whole conference to try to bring a title for the first time in a long time to the Big Ten conference.
26 years.
It's time. I mean, look, the league had 4 of the Elite 8. You get 6 in the Sweet 16. You get 2 in the Final Four. This is the Big Ten. If they're going to break this drought, the night is tonight. Look, Michigan, go back to November, and they were cleaning teams up. I mean, what they did at Players Era was just unbelievable. I laugh when people say, oh, they got a little bit bored. They're 36-3. Like, they've played 39 games. What do you mean get bored? It's not like they lost 8 or 9 games. By the same token, Dan Hurley said to me the other night, he's like, people think we're crap this year. We're 34-5. I will say this, Dave, and I don't know if you agree or disagree. Michigan is a heavy favorite tonight, comparable to other national championship games, right? But by the same token, like, I think this is where your respect for UConn comes. I don't think, like, if Michigan does this tonight, it shouldn't be, well, they were always going to coast. They're going up against the defining brand in college basketball over the last 5 years. And the other thing I don't want to hear is that they bought a title. Ask Mark Pope how that worked out. Mm-hmm. Ask Jerome Tang how that worked out. You don't just buy a title.
Yeah, that's the dumbest. And again, a lot of my friends in East Lansing, a lot of them they're the leaders in this chant. Tommy Sweet 16 because build not buy. But let me tell you something. If that is your philosophy moving forward, that you're not going to get transfers, you're not going to pay, well, you're never going to win in this NIL era. You have to do that. And I talked to all of my people last night. You know how it goes, Johnny. You're feeling good, you're having dinner, you're in and out, you're texting, how about them Wolverines and the resources? And this basketball team is going nowhere. There's no accident why Dusty May said, I'm here for life, because the money's there, the program's there, and you need to spend to win. So Michigan spends better. We're smarter people. That's what we are criticizing now, that Michigan people are smarter than East Lansing people. We've known that for years.
Well, I won't get in the IQ battle on the Ann Arbor versus East Lansing front. I don't know if I'm.
That's factual. So that's just
understood. That's fact. Look, he's 63-13. Dusty May has done an unbelievable job inheriting a program that won 8 games 2 years ago and saying, I'm going to win the Big Ten tournament in my first year, and then followed up with a Big Ten regular season championship and make it to the national championship game and potentially end this conference's drought. But we should have known. Look what he did at Florida Atlantic.
Exactly.
You don't just do that. For the people who tonight are saying, well, he's got all the resources, okay, there's other people that have those types of resources that do not win, or people that had more resources and that have not been able to win. But look, you ever see The Shining, Dave?
Yes.
You see The Shining?
Great.
Yes.
Well, Dan Hurley is Jack Nicholson inside that hotel. And the longer you stay in the hotel with him, the more danger you put yourself in. It's red rum. That kid's riding the bicycle. And here's Danny. Like, Danny's got the axe, and he's scooching around the hotel. Shelley Duvall's screaming. Like, you gotta beat him. You gotta somehow get him out. Remember how the movie ends? They get him out into the maze.
Yeah.
Okay? Michigan's gotta get them out to their maze, if you will.
Maze in blue.
Maze in blue. They gotta try to confuse him. It's gonna be hard. Because he's unstoppable.
Yeah, and this is a team, I've said it over again, you're not going to get me to disparage them. And I'd actually say, you say the defining program in the last 5 years, the last 20 years. I mean, this UConn team, it's hard to picture them now, but before they burst onto the scene, everyone's like, who's UConn? What is this team? You know, and all the blue bloods were looking at them, be like, UConn, who? UConn is the premier power program the last 2 decades. It's not really even close. And if they ever pulled this upset off, I don't even know what you have. They're already an unbelievable dynasty.
Well,
but if they won this, it takes it to a whole new level. So I am not looking past this team. I've been with this team. I've been in the student section with this team, high as a kite. I've been betting on them winning millions of dollars to win tournaments. So nobody respects UConn more than me. And it's going to be a war tonight to beat this team.
That's the question I had, John. You look at, obviously, UConn's success. The program for over 25 years would be unbelievable. What does this do if Hurley pulls off this upset? For one, being this probably the second biggest upset in national tournament history. He would have 3 titles in 4 years. He'd have 3 total, which puts him in a pantheon above Izzo.
Definitely not the second, Bosco.
What did I say?
The second?
Second what?
Biggest upset national championship. That can't be true.
It's damn close. Duke was 9.5.
Yeah, Duke was 9.5 and 99.
What about 1985? Rolly Massimino over.
Yeah.
Okay, it's in terms of do you have?
What about Valvano?
If you have lines on that, yeah, I'm going straight from the gambling aspect. You're right. It's in the Mount Rushmore. It's in the Mount Rushmore. It's in the Mount Rushmore.
It would be.
It'd be a big upset, but I don't think it's Valvano. I don't think it's Rolly Massimino. You already said Duke.
Check the spreads. We'll double check. You're right. You're right. There's been some big ones, but either way, John, this gives him 3.
You hire your expert. He's going to check everything and get back to us.
You got to, because that's the thing of Bosco. If you let him start going on a roll, he'll just start steamrolling facts, and he'll just start running over the truth.
Okay. Anyway, where does this put Hurley? 3 titles, 3 and 4, still a relatively young guy. Where is he in the pantheon of all times? Because he's pretty damn high.
Well, here's the deal. Dan has a picture of John Wooden in his office. All right, we know where John Wooden stands in college basketball history, and that's the greatest. If he wins this game tonight, it's his best coaching job of his career because this team got clobbered in the Big East championship game. It was non-competitive against the St. John's team that ultimately, their season ended in the Sweet 16. This would create the conversation that he can surpass Krzyzewski, that he could be, in among the top 4 ever to coach basketball.
Really?
To ever coach college basketball for sure. That's where he puts himself tonight. And he's 53. We have to start to have the conversation of, are we watching a modern day, the greatest? Not among. He puts himself number 1. Like, he's number 1 right now, if you want to rank best coaches in the country.
Yeah.
He wins this game tonight. He could have a bad year next year, and you would still say he's number 1. That's what I think. He's just earned the benefit of every single doubt.
Here's a question. Do you think and I've gone back and forth in my head 3 times as I thought of the question. Do you think it's easier to win consistently now, or because the counter argument would be, well, if you can spend, you can always guarantee yourself a great roster.
Yeah, ask Mark Pope.
Yeah, well, yes, Mark Pope may not be a good coach.
Yeah, but
I think it was a little bit easier back then.
It's hard to build. It's hard to build consistency.
Correct, but if you miss on your guys, like right now, for example, Michigan, we have money, we have a great coach, we can go cherry pick. Oh, Yaxel, come with us. Oh, Mara, come with us.
But
you can create super teams almost every year.
It's got to work, though. To John's point, it didn't work for K-State, didn't work for Kentucky. It's got to work.
Yeah, Dave, it's like if you constantly change things up in the office place. By the way, Georgetown was a 9.5 points favorite.
Yeah, there's 6 of them that were greater than tonight's spread.
Okay, great.
So I mean, well, that's
whatever.
Dave,
Don't
Dave,
come after my guy Rico. His question, his question still stands.
6 of them higher, or was it a
How
tie?
dare you correct Rico Bosco?
I didn't say how dare. I did not say how dare. I knew Duke was a 9.5.
No,
Some of them were what, 8.5? Like we're picking
on me again.
They're all right
picking
there.
nits.
Picking on Bosco again
Community
because
noted.
he said something wildly inaccurate, and we
Scales.
called him out on it.
Dave, what was the look that you said when we were talking Friday? The look when you ask a question?
He just kind of
Wait,
stares.
process, John, process.
Okay, got it. Process. It was like the Calipari stuff when we asked you some flat out questions about the past, and you just denied that you ever had a Twitter account to begin with.
No, I did not deny it. I said the criticism.
We move on. Look, here's the thing. It puts him in that tier, but it is harder to do now because Dave, you constantly change things up. You don't know how the personalities are going to go. You don't know that Elliot Cadeau is actually going to take coaching. Yep. He was coming from Carolina where he was really allowed to do whatever he want under Hubert Davis, and Dusty May knew he was talented, but they didn't know if he would stay disciplined. That's what impresses me about Cadeau. He's made sacrifices to fit into what they want to do. You don't know if Namari Burnett's going to accept that he's going to have a much more minimal role under Dusty May than Juwan Howard and won't transfer away. So, like, I really think that we're talking about something that's very difficult to do 3 times over 4 years, especially when you consider that this is really when everything kicked in with the NIL and rev sharing. This 3 and 4 years is during the ultimate process of change.
And on the flip side, Dusty, he's already up there, but if he completes this deal, you turn this Michigan program around like that, you're at the Final Four with the team that nobody saw coming. I mean, he elevates himself right up there onto the top. He's already there, but this really cements him. And the future is so bright for the Block M. It's just really a great time to be a fan of Michigan basketball and sports in general. So I expect to win this game. It would be heartbreaking to come this far and not win this game. But if there's one team in the country that is standing in the way, keep saying it's this Uconn Husky, it's Dan Hurley. So John, that does strike a little fear into me.
So, Johnny, what about this then? It's a one-game sample size. Anything can happen. If it's going to happen, if Uconn is somehow going to fulfill this intangible thing that they have, what do you see as being kind of the script of the game? Like, what breaks that way to create an upset that on paper looks like it's really far-fetched?
You got to get through the first 8 minutes and just be within striking distance. You can't let Michigan was up 10-1 on Arizona. You're not coming back from. I don't care that it's 9.
Right.
I don't care that UConn can make threes. I'm talking about Michigan here. How good they are. How much how good I think they are. You can't go down 10-0. You can be fighting uphill. You have to establish your footing in this game. Now, you know where the architecture starts with this? If Connecticut comes out and hits 3 of their first 4 shot attempts from 3, and they're getting the game slowed down. One of the great things about UConn is if you look at their figures, they're one of the slower operating teams in the country. So they want to limit possessions. They want to take the shot clock down, run Braylon Mullins, Alex Caravan off ball screen, solo ball 2, and eventually get them to flash out for an open look. They do have the script that can be there with Michigan at the end and that can allow them to win the game. So this is not that's why it's not all-time shocker if they find a way. But it starts with they got to hit at least 11 threes. At least 11 threes. And Terrace Reed cannot be in foul trouble because for me, if I'm Michigan, I go right at Reed. I attack Reed defensively, and I say, Terrace, you're going to have to guard our guys, and we're going to get you in a couple of whistles. Because then it's a freshman, Eric Ryba, going up against Adai Mara and Morris Johnson. It's a very, very uphill battle. Reed has to stay out of foul trouble. Solo ball and Alex Caravan can't go 1 for 11.
Yeah, Caravan has to step it up. Has to.
He's got to step it up and play a big-time game. It's his last college game. Think about that, Dave and Rico. He took it, and T-Bob, he took it to the absolute limit. I respect all that.
One of the best UConn guys ever.
He'd have one of the best resumes ever in terms of winning for sure. I mean, look, here's the deal. UConn wins tonight. They break the tie with UNC. They're only behind, I think, UCLA and Kentucky when it comes to that. As he enters Hurley, that is, enters Roy Williams, Bobby Knight. This is a massive legacy-defining moment. Yaxel, Johnny, last one here. Yaxel, he's going to play, going to be limited. How much does that factor in? And who has to step up in Yaxel's absence?
Well, they got good production from Trey McKinney, right? And their supporting cast, like Roddy Gale, can step up for them as well. One of the biggest keys for Michigan that turns them from here to here is when their complementary shot makers on the wing also are knocking things down. That's why when they lost Case and people were concerned. But look, like Cheddar can come in and give them something. They've got depth. I'm not worried about that. I expect Jackson to be at 60, 70%. He's going to grind it out as much as he humanly can. But they've got an embarrassment of riches. And look for those other guys. I thought McKinney was fantastic in the Final Four game. But I want to bring this last thing up to you guys before I let you go. Okay? We're in an era in college sports right now where everybody's talking about Curt Cignetti. Okay? And just, 2 short years, the last 2 years of what he's done. If Dusty May wins his title tonight, what kind of pressure does that put on ADs and on schools across the country that say it takes 4 or 5 years to actually get it right? He will have turned this thing in 2 freaking years. If I'm an Indiana fan, I'm like looking for a paper. I'm just a basketball fan. Thank God they got their football title, but we all know Indiana and what basketball means to them. They're not the only ones. Like Kentucky fans got to be saying, look what he did.
Yeah.
Look what he did in 2 years. I want that for my school. So it does add to this whole climate of there's pressure. There's pressure to perform in a short window.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. And Kentucky is the obvious answer. Example, I think if a coach fails in this NIL era for 2 years, I don't know that you should sit back and think, well, he's going to turn around. He needs time. I agree with you totally. 2 years, if you haven't shown signs that you can win and win big, it's on to the next, I would think. Football, I'm not sure. Signetti, I still can't wrap my brain around that one. That one's so unusual. It's much easier in basketball with the shorter roster. You get 2 or 3 players, you're off and running.
It's a reflection, though. It's a reflection of Rico's longevity. He has I respect that. You've had multiple contracts. Like, you've made it work for a long time.
Multiple eras.
He's had
multiple
one boss,
eras,
and it's like Superman with
What's the score prediction? Give
All
us
right, we
score
gotta
prediction,
go.
John.
Johnny, who wins? Johnny, final one.
2 seconds.
Michigan 78, Uconn 70. Michigan 78, Uconn.
There it is. Johnny Fanta, NBC Sports. John, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great day. Wrap up our one.
Congratulatory text after we win the title.
Thank you, guys. You got it.
Later, man. Talk a little MLB on the way back. Still got second hour as well. We got Jon Gruden coming by.
We got Geno Auriemma. We can't let him off the hook.
We're not. We got stock up, stock down coming as well. So what's happening, y'all? We are 10 games in to the Major League Baseball season. A lot of storylines in play. We'll get to some of the crazy things that happened over the weekend. Dave, real quick update. How's betting on the Sox going, huh? 162.
So you asked that T-Bob earlier in the show, making conversation. Hey, Dave, how's it going betting on the Red Sox? You said you're going to bet on them every game, which I am betting on them every game. Well, the Red Sox are the worst team in Major League Baseball. They're the absolute worst team in Major League Baseball. That graphic is not incorrect. They're the only team without 3 wins this season. I'm talking the White Sox have 3 wins. The Rockies have 3 wins. The A's have 3 wins, at least 3 wins. The Red Sox have 2. They blew a 4-0 lead yesterday. The team is a joke. The owner is a joke. There's chance raining through the Fenway, sell the team. Breslow is a moron, the GM. Everything that could have gone wrong this season has gone wrong. I'm very close to having to start to fire employees. I don't know what to do, but I'm losing like a mutt a game betting on the Red Sox. They stink. I feel like I'm too far into it. I can't just, if I stop, they'll get hot. But this team is miserable. They are horrible. I've decided I'm going to watch all 162 this season. It's the worst. It's one of the worst experiences I've gone through. I should be happy. I'm dressed in maize and blue. We're playing for a national title game today. The Red Sox have the Brewers coming to the town, one of the better teams in baseball. We're probably going to get our butts kicked for 3 straight games. By the way, we've played 9 games. We've been favored in 8 of them. You want to talk about Bosco stats? Find me a team that has been favored in 8 out of 9 games and is the worst team in their league. That has to be impossible. The Red Sox absolutely stink. John Henry's more concerned with Liverpool, Roush Racing, this little golf thing he does. He doesn't care about the Red Sox. He hasn't talked to the media since they traded Mookie Betts. He hides behind these dark glasses, Dr. Creepy, a true supervillain. Everybody's like, hey, Dave, buy the team. I can't afford the team. What do you think? I don't have that type of money, especially now because of how they're playing. So how is the Red Sox season going? It stinks.
Look, you can't afford the team, but you can lead the revolution against Henry. Right, you can do what your forefathers
Well, they're chanting
did.
"Sell the team." There was a woman who absolutely went nuts. I don't know if we have the clip, if we're allowed to use it. We tried to get her on this show, but she was ranting. Listen, Boston is a tribal city. We like people from Boston. We like our own. We'd rather the team be owned by somebody who grew up rooting for the Red Sox and wants them to win. If you're going to be a carpetbagger, if you're going to come from another city, a city, by the way, where you just destroyed another team, the Florida Marlins, you build them up and then destroy them. If you're going to be that obvious of a carpetbagger, it's not good enough to win a couple World Series, which he did. It kept us off his back. You better always want to win. You better not be doing what he's doing now, which is trading our best players in their prime and not giving a damn. So sell the team, John Henry, if you're not going to spend money.
All right, coming up, guys, we got Jon Gruden, we got Stock Up, Stock Down, we got some title game bets you can play tonight. It's all coming up right here at FS1.
And
Don't worry to grab a call.
You, Geno Auriemma, too. You're not out of the woods.
Yeah, Geno's good. Yeah, Geno's in the crosshairs.
Another insufferable man.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to WUB. So the men's final going down tonight. Women's final in the books. Wild weekend of women's basketball as Uconn, who had won over 50 games in a row, gets dominated by South Carolina. Only then, Liam, for your Bruins to come around and dominate South Carolina in the final.
And again, you can't T-Bob. Those are I don't want to Bosco you here, but I don't know that you can say dominate. You can't say UConn got dominated by South Carolina and then say only to see South Carolina get dominated by UCLA. You can't use dominated for both those terms.
Okay. Let's
We need a bigger verb. One was by 10, one was by what, 40, 30?
It was
Like one was 40.
The
other one was close.
The game was over in a quarter.
Yes.
Okay, fair. You know what, fair. Too much setup anyway on my part, because we're here to talk about Geno. I just wanted to give the Bruins a little love since they actually won the championship. But Geno steals the headlines. Geno steals the headlines. Him and Dawn Staley, post-game, very clear altercation. And really, it's like that was bad. But then it's all of Geno's comments afterwards. You know, she didn't shake my hand pregame. There's video that she did shake his hand pregame. And it's a lot of like, y'all don't know what you're talking about. If you know what I'm talking about. But nobody knows what he's talking about.
Sarah Strong, he says, I've never had a player get their shirt ripped in half, no foul. Then Sarah Strong just ripped her own shirt.
It's like very clearly ripping her own shirt.
Yeah, so here's the thing about Geno, and I've been a Geno truther. Go back and read my tweets. I've been a Geno truther for a long time. He's an insufferable, arrogant jerk. Now, I have no problem. I think a lot of college basketball coaches, both men and women, can be insufferable when you lose. And to be frank, I don't want a good winner. Was he an absolute jerk? Yes. Was he making stuff up? Yes. Was he devastated that they lost? Yes. Where I draw the line is when these coaches, and it's Auriemma, it's Tom Izzo, Krzyzewski, they get built like they're morally superior. They're these great leaders of young men and women. No, they're not. They're arrogant jerk. And it's easy to be great when you're winning all the time. Show me how you handle a defeat. And by the way, Dawn Staley's the same exact way. Dawn Staley, when they lost to Iowa, and Caitlin Clark, who Rico ruined my relationship with, when they lost to Iowa, she was an insufferable jerk. I remember the coach of Iowa being like, when you play South Carolina, it's a bar fight, meaning like, you know, it's a knockout, drag-out war. Dawn Staley tried to make that into a race comment. So all of these coaches, when they lose, are jerks. Let's just not boost them up as these great humans. And Geno Auriemma certainly is not. So Geno and his his apology. He's like, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm about here at UConn. Yes, it is. That's exactly who you are. That's exactly who you always have been. We just don't see it that much because you win 99% of the time. You know, what is it? It's unlike what I do in what our standard is here at UConn. Oh, no, 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 no. That's exactly who you are. You're always a jerk. You always complain. You didn't want to give Caitlin Clark her flowers either when she beat you. He's insufferable. It's a double standard.
Even going back, he had a big blowout with Pat Summitt back in the day, too. Right? Didn't
and I also asked
for a long period of time?
What type of competitive integrity do you have? And this could get me in trouble. I've said this. That he's never had the desire to get into the men's game. That, to me, is very confusing why he's never. If it's me and I've dominated the women's game, I would want to see where I go to the next level. He doesn't. I've always wondered that. I think Bosco, you tried to get his son on. But, yeah, I'm not an Auriemma guy. Now, just own it. Don't lie to me. Don't piss on me and tell me it's sunny out, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you're an insufferable jerk and you're a bad loser. And I want my coaches to be bad losers. Just don't pretend you're some righteous dude. None of these guys are.
What about this, Dave? Has Caitlin texted you back yet?
No, she hates me.
Geno said Caitlin's game wouldn't translate, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yes.
It's a bad talent evaluator.
He's smug, he's arrogant, and by the way, that's fine. And you see the quotes of what Candace Parker, I think, said you, and obviously she's a Tennessee gal, but she's like, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And everyone's coming. And UConn, the UConn tree, which is filled with absolute megastars and superstars, absolutely love Geno. And if you play for him, I'm sure you love him. But let's not pretend he's not a arrogant, insufferable, smug jerk who's great at coaching basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, yeah.
Well said. All right.
Don't forget, he and Calhoun hated each other at UConn.
Yeah, the rumor was that I think Calhoun put something up. It's like UConn where the men are men, and then Geno put it up where it's like UConn where the women hang banners.
And Dan Hurley's out here. Can I talk? Dan Hurley's out here, and Dan Hurley's like, oh, Geno's such a classy guy. No, he's not. And by the way, you're not classy either, Dan Hurley. And I love Dan Hurley, but I don't think most people say he's the classiest coach who ever came down the pike. He's headbutting refs. He said on this show, Dan Hurley told us on the show, he asked, and I like Dan Hurley. I like Bobby Hurley. But Dan Hurley, we got to call it. We got to spade a spade. We asked Dan Hurley last week to be on Wake Up Barstool. He texted back, I don't do morning programs. He was doing a morning program at the same time. That's not classy. That's classless.
And he's done Wake Up Barstool before. So that's a little disappointing. What's not disappointing is what UConn's done on the court. Again, I find this, if UConn wins tonight, I know I referenced this the first hour of the show, but I think it bears mentioning again. That puts them at 7 titles, okay? Right now, they're tied with UNC with 6. They would only be behind UCLA and Kentucky, who, credit to them, won a lot. But, look, you can look at Adolph Rupp, okay? That's the guy who's got 4 title wins. He didn't win 8 teams were in the tournament.
Right.
To win 7 in the modern era and to bridge the NIL reality shift that has taken place in college basketball. I mean, if you wanted to maybe exaggerate a bit, you could argue this is one of the more amazing stories we have in all of sports.
For a little school in Connecticut, in a small state, there was never a power in the 60s and 70s like that. The thing that cracks me up, too, is Kevin Ollie. For all of this, in the craziest tournament, when the seeds break down and it's lunacy, Kevin Ollie goes and wins a title, who will never coach a college game ever again.
Yeah.
Ever. And they went, and UConn goes and steals one. All right, the tournament's going to go to a complete crapshoot. Who's going to win it? UConn. They just go get a steal in that one. Crazy. Just unbelievable what they've done.
What about this, guys? In terms of plays maybe that you're looking at tonight?
I wrote a few down.
Okay, because we have the race to 10. I'm a little surprised you're Michigan plus 135 on the race.
Nah, they're not.
I have
that's
Michigan.
wrong now. Okay, so I got old numbers.
I have Michigan $50,000 to win $500,000, and I need it to cover the Red Sox. It's what is that expression? Rob Peter to pay Paul or something.
Yep.
But I need this Michigan win.
So does that save a couple of employees if Michigan wins tonight?
Well, it gets me and it buys me a couple more Red Sox losses.
It buys you another week of the Major League Baseball season.
Well, you need Michigan and you need the Red Sox to win 6 in a row.
I just need the Red Sox not to lose every night. Yeah, but I listen. I'll let Bosco. I think Michigan's going to win this basketball game. They're just so good. They're so good. I'm not going to bet it. You said you got some picks, Bosco. I mean, I already have all this action.
Yeah,
I'm holding Michigan 16-1 back from November.
Okay, but hold on. Without a future though, because let's say like you're not a Mutt, you're not Dave, you don't have a rooting interest tonight. What are some fun plays?
Can I ask though, Bosco, one question? I have heard a couple people ask this. And by the way, Big Cat has Uconn at 25-1. So a lot of that, but why do you have Michigan at 16-1, but you were giving everybody out Gonzaga?
I still believed in Gonzaga, and then during that game, Michigan blew the doors off them, and I looked, and I went, Michigan at 16, I'll take that too.
Smart.
Yeah, well, smart for him, not for the people holding his Gonzaga.
My investors are crying poor. But
that's how
the poor
that's
guy.
how what's his name got kicked off Wall Street. The guy I hate, the Business Insider guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Henry Blodgett. Henry Blodgett got kicked off Wall Street because he was sending emails saying one stock stunk, but telling his clients to buy it. That's what you were doing. You're like, take Gonzaga, but I'm on Michigan.
Well, I mean, he had to get more value in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Gonzaga got a 3 seed without their best player.
Was doing the same thing.
Okay, what are the plays for tonight?
I like Trey McKinney, 12+ points is plus 165.
Okay, he was great.
I like him at 2 threes is plus 110. Mara 4 assists is plus 100. I like both teams over 68.5 points is plus 115. Mullins 13+ points is minus 115, and 3 threes is plus 125.
Oh, I actually love that. I think
Mullins is very fun to root for. I like that a lot. So that's where I'm at with that. And then holding Michigan, obviously.
Liam, Meek, y'all playing anything tonight?
I am laddering Trey McKinney 3s from 2+, 3+, to 4+. I think he has a huge shooting night, and I could take those props in the city of Chicago.
The line is back down at 6.5.
Yep.
On DraftKings, it's moving.
Oh, interesting.
Is Laurent, how's Ball? Solo Ball? What's his status?
He's not on the injury report, so you're assuming he's playing. Same thing with Yaxel.
They said a boot, right, for him? He was
boot yesterday, yes.
Again, not on the injury report, so.
The word on the street is that Yaxel was in a boot as well. I mean, Yaxel's been very clear that he's going to play, right? Like even his agent, his mom, there on the sideline the other night, like, what are you doing? And that's one thing. I mean, that's one thing that I haven't talked about yet that I do want to highlight. Yaxel Lindenborg is him being so willing to finish this fight because he has a very bright future, right? And you could argue that he's potentially putting himself in harm's way by going back in that game the other day or by wanting to play tonight. But this man wants to win a championship.
Can I handle that for you?
Yeah.
There's something special when you put on that block M.
No. This is about Yaxel. This is not about Michigan.
He could be playing for Norfolk State in the championship.
It absolutely is about Michigan. Who's he play for? You can't say it's not about Michigan. That's one of the dumbest things I've heard on this show. To say it's not about Michigan.
What I'm saying, he's not.
I'm saying this kid wants to win for the school. You have that much pride in the jersey that you wear. It's not about the name on the back. It's about the name on the front. And Yaxel feels that way. He wants to bring this national championship back to Ann Arbor. So I don't know how you say that's not related. Maybe if you play at Ohio State or you play at East Lansing, you rest this game because it doesn't mean as much. But when you come to Ann Arbor, you play not only for yourself, but for the entire school. So yes, I think that is why he's so determined to be on the court. He feels like he owes it to the people of Ann Arbor, the alumni, the students, the Walmart Wolverines to bring us a national championship. What is so crazy about that?
I don't think it's crazy, but I think it is more about his individual makeup, and then it becomes about Michigan through kind of the Dusty May lens. That he can hit the recruiting trail, identify guys who not only have the talent that he's looking for, but also have the character. Because that's one thing about this Michigan team, very high character team.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a team where...
You have to be. You have to be.
Well,
We're a high character institution.
If only Brandon Walker was here, they'd be putting on a team for him. No, but it's a situation where, like, sometimes they're very willing for it to be this guy's night, that guy's night. Like the team that May has put together. The same thing's true of UConn as well.
Did you just say the team, T-Bob?
What did I?
The team.
Wait, what did
the
I?
team.
What did I?
The team.
Michigan thing.
Oh.
It's about the team.
It's about the team. Yeah.
The team.
Yeah.
The team.
Did Michigan
that is a very famous Michigan slogan. The team, the team, the team. You said it without even knowing.
I didn't know that, yeah.
My point.
I think Michigan's going to run right through UConn like a butter knife.
All right, so I think you were looking for like a hot knife through butter, but still.
I was looking for a butter knife.
We're going to do it for all those people. My poor friend, Titus, he loves Ohio State basketball, and they stink, and they don't care about basketball in Columbus. I'm going to do it for him. I'm going to do it for little Willie Compton, who had a little rush with Nebraska basketball this year, and they get bounced by Iowa. McCaffrey's. I'm going to do it for everybody in this conference, for Tommy Sweet 16 and all those people in East Lansing who have memories of the Flintstones, but they haven't won a national championship in God knows how long, since black and white TV. I'm going to do it for Purdue, who has nothing to live for. I'm going to do it for all these Big Ten schools. That's what Michigan men do. We're the leaders and best. We're the champions of this conference, and we're going to try to put the Big Ten on our back, as we do so many times, and bring home a national championship for this conference, which was the best conference all season long in college basketball.
Ooh, Dave, this sounds very similar to the speech you gave to your AFC East brethren going into the Super Bowl. Gonna do it for the Bills,
sports,
do it for the Dolphins.
Sports, ridiculous analogy, stock down.
Okay. Coming up next, we got Coach Gruden coming by. Man, the draft's coming up. Coach Gruden's been in Tampa, grinding, working with the next crop of quarterbacks. We'll get into all of his insights, what to expect, where you can watch, all coming up on Wake Up Barstool. Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool. Guys, lock in, okay? Because we got a premiere of a big show going down tonight. Coach Gruden's been in Tampa. They've been filming, they've been researching. It's time for Coach Gruden's QB class.
Well, this year's Gruden's QB class we are very proud of. We can only do 6, and we are lucky to have these 6 guys. Taylon Green, 6'6", out of Arkansas. The sky is the limit with you. The things you can do are hard to coach. And Diego Pavia, I don't care how tall he is, guy's a playmaker. Wait till you see him. When I say you have the it factor, what do I mean by that?
DAWG.
And Ty Simpson, what he did as a first-year starter at Alabama, he has a lot of people on notice. What's your definition of a football junkie?
Somebody who is infatuated with it, who can't get enough.
And Sawyer Robertson, 6'4" out of Baylor, a lot of production. He's going to translate into the NFL game, I think, extremely well.
I knew football was going to work out for me. When I got my opportunity, I knew I was going to make the most of it.
Garrett Nussmeier, I know he struggled with his health a little bit this year, but his 2024 tape pops. He grew up on an NFL sideline.
Yeah, I'm a gunslinger, all right? That is who I am, but I'm a smart gunslinger.
And Carson Beck out of the Miami Hurricanes, he won at 2 big-time colleges. And I think he's going to continue to win because he has talent, he has toughness, and he loves it. You really get excited when you, tear somebody's ass up?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do. I love that. Gruden's quarterback class, coming soon.
Coming tonight, actually. Debuting with Diego Pavia, Carson Beck on deck. It's going to be great, guys. It's a ton of great insight into the stars of tomorrow. Coach Gruden, welcome into the show. I want to start here. Ty Simpson has been the most interesting name to me in that the general public hears about him. We're kind of whatever a little bit. It's kind of a tepid reaction. But the quarterbacks, like the analysts who used to be quarterbacks, are all incredibly high on this guy. Where did you fall? What did you learn in working with Ty Simpson? And is in a legit conversation about whether or not he's the best quarterback in this class?
Well, he's only been a one-year starter, let's be honest. I think that's what separates him and Mendoza. Fernando started a lot more games than Ty Simpson, but when you watch Simpson play when he's healthy, he's the real deal, man. He got hurt down the stretch. He was beat up a lot. He lost some weight. But early in the season, Alabama had 4 straight wins against ranked opponents. And when you're looking for tight window throws, down the field shots, this guy can make all the plays, and he's athletic. He can get out of trouble. You can use him in the zone read running game. But he is a young man with a great upside, I think. He might need a little bit more seasoning, but this kid's a really great prospect.
You know, what's interesting with Alabama is you're so used to the Alabama quarterbacks to have more talent and be so much superior, but that wasn't really the case with this Alabama team. If you watch them, he was getting beaten up pretty good. But I mean, I don't think T-Bob, there's any doubt. I know what the guy, or was it Orlovsky, said he likes him more.
Or Chase Daniel loves him like that. Orlovsky loves. It's like all the quarterbacks are always kind of like, oh, I mean, trust me, guys.
No, Fernando's the number one. Fernando Mendoza is the number one guy. There's no debate about that. He's a Raider, right? I mean, you got to be a fool not to take Mendoza number one. Do you agree with that, Coach?
Yeah, I think so. I think Fernando, his body of work is more impressive. He did it longer. He did it on 2 different teams, and he's 16-0, and he played very good at crunch time. You watch the Oregon film, 2 deep balls against Ohio State, very impressive. His toughness, man, I think sets him apart. But you go back to Ty Simpson, they did not have a running game this year at Alabama, probably the worst running game in the history of Alabama football. And their offensive line, even though Proctor's going to be a first-round pick at left tackle, they really struggled protecting the passer, man. And to Dave's point, Simpson was beat up. When you watch Fernando and Simpson go head-to-head in that Rose Bowl, Indiana kicked their butt, and Simpson got benched because he was hurt. But I don't think Simpson was 100%, not even close.
Question of the Arkansas quarterback. I saw you have him in there. He's an interesting one to me because that team was terrible, but they put up points. He can run. What was your take on him?
You know what, Dave? We had Pat Mahomes in here several years ago, and they had a losing record at Texas Tech. They didn't go to a bowl game. Taylon Green, the Arkansas Razorbacks lost 10 straight games. And their coach got fired at midseason, but they averaged 33 points a game on offense. Some of the games they lost were head scratchers, but when you look at Calvin Johnson, the man I call Megatron from the Detroit Lions, the exact same measurables at the combine. I mean, this guy's 6'6", runs 4.35, and has a 45-inch vertical. And he can run and pass, and he's smart, and he's a great kid. He was a good player at Boise. I thought he had a really good 2024 season, but Arkansas got riddled in the transfer portal. They had a lot of new players. But Bobby Petrino, he coached Michael Vick at Atlanta. He coached Lamar Jackson at Louisville. And he did some really good work with Taylon Green from Arkansas as well. I think he's a sleeper in this draft.
So when you mention those immeasurables, I feel like if somebody tilts it dominates the draft like combine like that, there's always a team out there who shocks you, who's like, oh my God, we're going to go that. So do you think there's a chance he goes way earlier because of that?
I do. I asked him if he had any interest in becoming a wide receiver. It's not something he wants to talk about. If you remember Terrell Pryor, Terrell Pryor came into the league with similar measurables. He had over 1,000 yards receiving. And Taylon Green has that kind of athleticism. But given the way the game is going today, how they protect quarterbacks in the pocket, you see the success of how many guys are running their quarterbacks now. Taylon Green is going to be interesting because if he gets the corner on you, man, he is gone. Well, and he has sudden quickness for a big guy as well. He's a great kid. I hope somebody with a really creative offensive backgrounded coordinator gets their hands on this kid.
If he doesn't get his shot to play quarterback, do you think that he'll give wide receiver a shot or another position? Because like you said, his athleticism is so special. His long speed, the strides he takes, he runs like a gazelle.
Yeah, I don't think he has any interest in being a wide receiver. He wants to be a quarterback. He wants to win in the pocket. I think that's the challenge he has. Learn to win in the pocket and use these gifts you have when you have to use them. He did have some impressive games. If you go back and watch him play against Mississippi State in 2024, you might say this is Randall Cunningham reincarnated.
With all due respect, that's Mississippi State.
Yeah, I mean, no, but look, I mean,
look. Brandon Walker was sitting around there.
You get
the backups.
You get a unicorn like Green, like, yeah, it's worth taking a flyer on. Like, some team's going to see if maybe they get the diamond. How about this, though, Coach? In many ways, the polar opposite's Diego Pavia. He's going to be on the premiere episode, right? Like Green's this giant, Pavia's diminutive, right? Green didn't win that much. Pavia did win. What did you learn from Diego, and how do you think it translates to Sunday?
Yeah, of course, I like all the guys we had in here, but if you don't like Diego Pavia, you just don't like football. This guy has won where people don't win. Nobody has ever won at New Mexico State. This guy took them to 2 bowl games. And nobody wins 10 games at Vanderbilt on the football field.
No.
Guy beat Alabama. He beat Auburn 3 times. He beat LSU. He beat Tennessee and Knoxville. He is a contagious vibe, man. Once you catch the vibe, man, you got it forever. He's a creative player. He can win in the pocket. He has one thing going against him, is height. And he's this much shorter than Drew Brees. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, wow.
The difference height-wise between him and Mike Vick and Drew Brees is that much. And I'm not saying he's going to be Drew Brees or Mike Vick, but he shreds people in the SEC. You can call him up and ask him. This guy has a great football mind. He has a passion to play. He's probably going to go later in the draft, but somebody's going to get their hands on a guy that is going to find ways to move the ball, score points, and help you win football games.
Let me ask you this, Coach. You said one thing going against him. I think in many GM and coaches' minds, he has 2 things going against him. The second being the gift of gab. He never shuts up, and he talks a lot of trash. And from what I've seen him say, he's not going to tone it down. He's like, this is who I am. Now, the NFL is, in my experience or watching, is allergic to this. It's like it's the last thing they want to hear. A guy who's not going to get in line, stay in line. How does that factor into teams deciding on this guy?
Yeah, I think when you look at him wearing that number 2, Dave, and you feel the connection between him and Johnny Manziel, people naturally say, we don't want that. We don't want to be associated with another Manziel. But he's using Johnny Manziel, I think, in a positive light. He's really mentored Diego. I'm talking about Johnny Manziel, what not to do. And I really think that's pretty cool. But when you're Diego Pavia and you're a no-star recruit, nobody wants you. Nobody wants you after you win a national title at junior college. Nobody wants you after New Mexico State. You get a chip on your shoulder that's about this big. And he is a pain in the ass to play against. But when you meet him, Dave, I'm convinced you would really like him and want him to be a part of our team at Barstool. He's
no doubt. But I bet a lot of front office.
I love that.
But a lot of front offices would look at me and say, we don't want anything to do with this guy. So I don't know. I don't know what that says.
A lot of these front offices I'm not big fans of either. Let's make sure we call it both ways.
Okay, Coach, what about this? A guy who maybe should have a chip on his shoulder now, Garrett Nussmeier, coming into the year, supposed to be top 3 guy, maybe number 1 pick overall, and it was a bit disastrous on every front. Now, it appeared obvious that he was hurt. They never confirmed it. It looks like maybe he confirmed it with you. What was your read on getting to know Nuss, and what was the story of what went wrong this last fall?
Well, everybody's got to know his dad is the offensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints. So he comes from a football pedigree. He's been around the game his whole life. When I watched him play this year, I was disappointed. I just didn't feel what I was hearing. But when you look at this kid play in 2024, I mean, this guy's a hell of a player. He's a gunslinger. He makes attempts that most guys don't even consider. He'll pump it in tight windows. He'll stand in the pocket. He is a tough SOB, man. But he got hurt the second day of training camp this year. It's a abdominal strain that never healed. And you could see him underthrowing a couple passes that he would normally hit with ease. He never was healthy. They shut him down after week 9. And I'm not being critical of the LSU Tigers, but I am talking to one of the fellow LSU alums. That was one of the most disappointing offensive lines I have seen this year. They didn't pass protect very well. They didn't run the ball very well either. And I think he suffered with the injury and the lack of balance. But this kid's a gunslinger, man. 4,100 yards in 2024, 29 touchdowns. And he did it with some real difficult throws. I like this kid, man.
Look, Coach, that was the Brian Kelly era, okay? We're out. We're into the Lane Kiffin times. Things are looking up down the bayou. Okay.
He played for Orgeron. He played for all. You guys fired the coach at LSU every year.
Hey, relax. We got to win.
They go camper and they steal. They're a heck of a everything that you don't want your program to be if you want to root for truth and justice. That's LSU.
Good. Bring it on. Hate us. I don't care, okay? Because we're going to keep hiring your coaches. We're going to keep stealing money to pay them, and it's going to be great. Look at that. Here's the full release schedule. We got Diego coming up tonight, Carson Beck in a couple of days, Ty Simpson on the 13th, Taylor Green the 15th, wrapping up with Sawyer Robertson on 420 and Garrett Nussmeier on 422.
I'm interested in Robinson, Coach. We talked about all these guys, Green size, and Pavia's got the gift of gab. He's a showman. Beck, obviously, in big games. Simpson, name brands. Nussmeier, name brands. Sawyer Robinson seems like the one people would know the least about. What stands out to him, or what's his, upside that you, after spending some time with him?
Well, Robertson chased Mike Leach. He's from Lubbock, Texas. He wanted to play for Mike Leach, so he went to Mississippi State. We all know the tragic death that Mike Leach had. And Sawyer Robertson was a man without a home. So he went back to the Baylor Bears. He's in this air raid offense. They brought in one of Mike Leach's proteges to call the plays and install the plays. A lot of production, a ton of production, 6'4", and very good athleticism. He ran 4.65. He's got a 38-inch vertical. But what I love about Robertson, he's got a lot of Kirk Cousins in him. Very smart. And in this air raid offense, if you watch him, every single drop is exactly the same. I call it the Texas two-step. And I think once he gets his footwork reorganized a little bit with the pro game, you're going to find a big guy that's got athleticism and passion to play. He's a great communicator. He's an intriguing guy.
The one guy we didn't talk about so far, Carson Beck, may be the most interesting guy on the whole list. He's definitely beside Diego, in the spotlight, talked about big games, big programs from Georgia to Miami. He's had a lot of criticism with turnovers. At one point, though, he was, I think, the de facto number one quarterback in people's minds when he was at Georgia. His personality, can't get a read on it, I don't think, from the outside. So what was your take meeting with him for a bit?
When we watched his 2023 tape, his first year as a starter at Georgia, I think he should have come out with Caleb Williams and Bo Nix and Drake May and all those guys. He had an unbelievable year at Georgia. And then in 2024, they go to the championship game again. He gets hurt against Texas, a serious injury. He goes to Miami, guys, and he has no spring practice. He's still rehabbing his arm. When training camp started, I don't even know if he knew how healthy he was. The guy's a winner. The guy has a lot of talent. He has a lot of production in different systems, and he played really good in big games. If you watch his Ole Miss game, which you're looking at right now, he did a number on the Rebels with his legs.
Yeah.
He's got a lot more athleticism than people think, but it is hard to find this kind of big game experience and production in the pocket like Carson Beck. Somebody's going to get him and bring him along.
What is his projected? Where is he projected to go?
I've heard different people say different things. I think it all depends on these individual workouts, Dave. You and I are going to get on the plane and we're going to go see Carson Beck. We're going to have him learn our stuff, take him out, give him our workout. We have to feel the vibe between us. I think there's got to be a connection. I think these coaches that go do these workouts, it's all about the connection. It only takes one coach to say that's the guy I want. And it's kind of like me in the 6th round when I met Bruce Gradkowski. I got it. Bruce Gradkowski.
Shout out Gradkowski. Hey, Coach, thank you so much, man. I miss you terribly. But everybody go to the Barstool Sports YouTube channel. Check out Gruden's QB class over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be awesome. So the best stuff that we do. Thank you, Coach. Have a great day, man.
Yeah, thank you for talking about the show, you guys. See you later.
You can bet. All right, coming up next, guys, stock up and stock down. Can I avoid having my name mentioned? We'll draft them up next here on Wake Up Barstool. What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. Wake Up Barstool. Okay, it's time. We do it every Monday. Davey, day trading global, stock up, stock down. Who had the good and bad weekends in sports? And we'll start with our fearless leader, Meek Phil. No, Dave, what do you got?
Stock down Geno Auriemma. I already talked about it, but what a disgusting display of sportsmanship.
Okay. All right, my first stock up, guys, space. The final frontier. Shout out America, Artemis 2. We're back in space. Human beings hurtling through the infinite cosmos. And guess what? Today, noon Central, 1 Eastern, Netflix is going to have a live feed from the Artemis 2 as they round the moon. It's incredible. I can't wait to watch. Stock up space, stock up live space coverage. Rico, what do you got?
Stock down distracting concerts at sporting events. In 2012 or 14, I would have had my best V-neck, the whistle. I would have loved to go to a Chainsmokers concert. But it's the Final Four. We're delaying the game to 9:30, 9:40 tip. Like, come on, place and time we do not need. And I like the Chainsmokers. You do not need the Chainsmokers doing
Also, the
concert.
DJ screaming.
No, the whole time. Make some noise.
DJ.
They're holding the tip.
Screaming.
The guy's sitting there with the ball. Like, can we start the game? He's like, if you're an Illinois fan, make some noise. Like, it's insane. Yes, distractions all over. Let us play the basketball.
Miki, what do you got, baby?
Stock up Joe Adele, who on Saturday night became the first player to ever rob 3 home runs in a game since they started tracking home run robberies, which I believe 1995 is the first year. Like, just an incredible night for him. He went from negative 0.5 WAR to a 0.0, an even player. Before this game, he was the worst defensive player in baseball through the first 8 games of this season.
Wait, what?
Yes, he's not a good defender at all. He literally just had the game of his life on a random Saturday in April. So stock up Joe Adele.
One of Joe Adele's most memorable clips is a ball bouncing off his head and going over the wall. I believe in his rookie year.
Oh, he got Conseco'd?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know
No,
that.
it was off his glove and over the wall.
Off his glove.
Okay.
I was mixing up with the Butler kid, maybe, when that happened. Stock down.
Wait, hold on, because I want to get to this last one, because it's not just the 3, but it's the fact that the 3rd is punctuated going into the crowd. And then
That's a
creating one
home
of the
run
best
in my
look.
book.
Look at that picture, though, dude.
This guy's standing. He's standing in the bleachers with the ball. If the ball, I don't care if the ball and the player land over the fence, to me, that's a home run. Meek Phil said, well, that's the way the rule has been written for 100 years. Well, I changed the rule. We had slavery back in the day. That's how those rules were written. That doesn't mean it's right.
Correct.
Change the rules.
Yeah, apparently.
Nate has the same take as that. He tweeted it the other day and has been getting ratioed constantly.
Yeah, apparently the rule is something along the lines of like the play has to start in the field of play. So you can't like hop the fence and go and
You
catch
can't set your outfielders in the bleachers pretty much.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
All right, somebody hits a bomb. Can he jump into the crowd?
No.
No.
You have to. It would be like the catch like has to start inbounds. Like in football, if you like jumped in inbounds and then caught it, we counted. Anyway,
I hate it. If you land in the bleachers, it should be a home run.
I'm kind of inclined to agree. It like carried you over.
Caveat for that: if there's runners on base, they automatically advance 1 base because that happened in the World Series Game 1, where Alex Verdugo went out of play on a foul ball, and both runners moved to second and third.
What in it?
It led to a Freddie Freeman grand slam because they had to walk.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, is there a chance if there was a guy on second, you could tag all the way to home if the guy's entangled in the bleachers?
I guess it's a way to protect both teams in that case, where it's only 1 base you move up.
Liam, what do you got, babe?
I've thought about it. This is a stock up, stock down. Arizona, congrats on making the Final Four, Whittle guy. It was really cool to see you there and get absolutely annihilated. No shocker there. People thought Michigan was going to be in for a war with this program, who does nothing but get absolutely violated on this stage every single year. I don't know if this was a better result or if losing to Princeton in the first round is a better result or Nate Oates in Buffalo by 20 is a better result. I don't know. But this is exactly what Arizona is. So congrats on making it to the Final Four. Your best team ever pretty much lost by 30 in the Final Four. Congrats.
They'll probably try to bury that footage.
Jeez, Liam, I know you have so much animus for Arizona. All right, my next stock up. Speaking of guys, sorry, Dave. Dave's up. Dave, you're up. My bad.
I'm gonna stock up. I thought Blutman was gonna do it there. I'll get UCLA women's hoops, who win the national championship. And in an era where you have all these very loud, vocal women's coaches, which I think is good, Dawn Staley, Geno Auriemma, a fairly under-the-radar coach, doesn't make waves for herself, lets the players do the talking. I think she was saying you can be a good person and still a good coach. I didn't realize Vasquez's sister is on the team, who played at UCLA. She's on my algorithm now. I see her doing a dance every 2 seconds. But a pretty likable Lauren Betts, who's been there 4 years, bunch of seniors, a good, feel-good, happy for team that you can root for. UCLA had been knocking on the door, and they finally get it, and they haven't had a championship in women's hoops forever. Have they ever had one in women's?
They had one before it was like official.
Got it. So yeah, congratulations to women's hoops, and they didn't just win. They were, I think, 4.5-point underdogs in the final. They won by 30, and it was never close. So congratulations, UCLA women's hoops.
Yeah, Close was there. That was her 15th season. She was pretty close with John Wooden. Her and Wooden met like every other Tuesday. I thought that she was pretty well-spoken in the post-game, too. I forget the exact quote, but she dropped the bar. 5 starters were all Pac-12 schools. Crazy. That was the Pac-12 All-Stars around the gauntlet on the women's basketball circuit.
Little revenge now waiting on behalf of the Big Ten. All right, my next stock up, Meek. How about this? College baseball, LSU Tigers, rubber match with Tennessee, and LSU catcher Cade Arambidi. He had 4 home runs coming into the game. He hit 4 yesterday alone, including a grand slam in the 12th. He had a solo shot in the 11th and hit a grand slam in the 12th. 4 home runs, 7 ribbies, 5 hits. Cade Arambidi, stock up. And they win the series against LSU because of that, or against Tennessee because of that performance. I know, suck it, Big T, you nerd. Tennessee baseball, dead. Stock down. Also, stock up, my guy Omar from Aeromexico. He found my bag. Shout out Omar, you're my boy for life.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Uh-oh. Caitlin Clark has responded.
Okay, what do we got?
I said testing, am I blocked? She said, yes, crying emoji, laughing, then no, laugh out loud. I think you sent that last text when I was flying. So Bosco, I guess.
Power bro. Stock up.
Stock up, Rico.
Stock up, Rico.
Quick bonus stock ups, me. Quick bonus stock, Indy. Cannot say enough about that Final Four. Get us to 2029 and bring it back. Unbelievable city. But the real one, I know you're down on him. Not doing a morning show, but Danny Hurley's post-game antics, or his whole act, is stock up. It's what we need. He's the psycho in the best way possible.
An act though?
He's walking down the hall talking to himself. Everybody now, he's headbutting. It's like a sign of greeting. The Illinois people, he's so whacked out. He's like, I don't know why they're booing. Danny, you just ripped their hearts out for the first time in 25. What are you talking about? He's just the best. He's out of his mind. He did the talk with his mouth like this for Chris Webber, which I love. It's a me and Jerry move. Hurley's post-game antics, unreal.
Andrea, too.
Yeah, with the beads. She had to run the beads, security escort. She forgot the beads. The whole thing is unbelievable. She's taking shots at St. John's fans. It's just nuts.
Miki, what do you got?
Stock down Craig Breslow, because I want to point out the Rafael Devers trade from last June. You trade Rafael Devers for James Tibbs, who has 7 home runs in the first 9 games in AAA. Oh, but that's for the Dodgers, because he traded him for Dustin May, who stinks and is not on the Red Sox anymore. He traded Kyle Harrison, who has trade for Kyle Harrison, who had 2 really good starts for the Brewers. Traded him for 5'6" Caleb Durbin, who has 2 hits on the season. The worst.
Caleb Durbin is the worst hitter I've ever seen. He's the worst. How about we have 2 guys right now who can hit? That's it. Abreu and Yoshida. We pinch run Yoshida with Caleb Durbin up with 2 outs. Caleb Durbin can't get a hit off a tee. Oh my God.
Greg Breslow got good players back for Rafael Devers and then shipped them off elsewhere for garbage players. It's that simple.
Liam, close out.
Yeah, an honorable mention, maybe a sneaky stock up, could be buying T-Bob when the stock is low. With all the stock down references. I'm not going to do it. I was going to say UCLA, but Dave, I was just going to say, UCLA, we also went for the Big Ten and everything. Gonna win in baseball as well. I didn't wear my UCLA gear today because I'm leaving. We're in here to be journalists, be unbiased.
Yeah.
UCLA baseball has won 23 straight. They're winning in a different way in this modern era, where it's a roster full of a bunch of guys who lost as freshmen. I believe they went 19-33 2 years ago. They're now the best team in baseball. The core of it stayed together. They have the #1 overall pick on the team in Rock Chalosky. They're plus 550 to win the national championship. I think that's a really good price because this is going to be your #1 overall seed, and this is the best team in college baseball, bar none. UCLA athletics way through the roof. And Chesney's got us going. Thank you. Big Ten, you're welcome.
You got
Big Ten,
out of
you're
there.
welcome.
I got to do a stock down again. I'll do it after break if we have to.
Yeah.
We got one more stock.
Yeah, okay. So we'll get to Dave's last stock down next. Really a stock up, guys. Golf guys. Masters. Let's touch on the Masters. Final thoughts on the final. Coming up next here on Wake Up Barstool.
Them right now.
All right, welcome back to Wake Up Barstool. Rico remains lava hot. Massive weekend. Probably just rekindled Dave's and Caitlin Clark's relationship. Everybody who wrote an article, please fix the record for the record. Dave, you had a final stock down, though.
Yeah, Jeff D. Lowe. And I already told you he stole our security guy Pat's seat at dinner at Iozzo's last night. Great Italian place. Not only did he steal it, and now keep in mind, security Pat is not a small guy. He needs his food. So it vicious move to steal his seat. But he ordered the chicken parm, Jeff D. Lowe, and I'm sitting there, we're done. 3/4 of it is sitting on his plate, uneaten. No. So I look at Jeff D. Lowe, I go, you're on Ozempic or one of those weight loss drugs. He's on Zepbound, I guess is what it is. Same stuff. You take a shot, you lose your hunger. I don't know why anybody, unless you're out in the clubs and trying to meet girls and you're clavicular or something, look at this.
That's
sad.
Saying highfalutin weight loss drugs was an unreal statement. Highfalutin is unreal. Bring that back.
To take somebody to a great Italian restaurant and have to sit and look across the table at this because they're on a weight loss drug and they lost their appetite, and you stole a fat guy's seat for the last seat at the table.
Disrespectful.
This is disgusting behavior from Jeff D. Lowe. I am sick of these weight loss drugs. If you're not out there trying to meet girls every day of the week, why would you do that? What else do you have to look forward to besides a great Italian meal? He leaves 3/4 of it on his plate. Disgusting.
It looks like a great chicken parm, too.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How long do you think this chicken parm kick lasts? Because you had one the week before. This one, like, are you still?
Well,
you
yeah,
get your.
In the I like chicken parm. I always have. I'm living in the Florida Keys. I'm eating a lot of fish, so I'm traveling. I want some chicken parm.
Got it. Now I want a chicken parm.
The other day.
I love chicken parm. Well, Blutman, you know.
Yeah.
When I'm in Chicago, what do I say? Let's go down the road for chicken parm all the time.
That's where I went. I went there Thursday and Friday. They got
That's a
strawberry
great
cake
spot.
I just had.
What's the name of that place?
Mart Anthony's.
Mart Anthony's, great chicken parm right next to the office. Great spot. I love me a good chicken parm. Is that wrong, Bosco?
No, I'm asking. I've been on those kicks where you're in the mood for steak, you're in the mood for fish, this, that. Like, I'm just asking how long your kicks last.
All right. Hold on now, because we have 1 minute left. I feel like Jeff D. Lowe not eating the chicken parm may be a bad omen, but who knows? Final predictions, boys. Michigan takes it down. Anybody going opposite?
Michigan.
No, it's Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan, Sky Scheffler.
Okay. And yeah, we're going to be talking Masters all week. Shout out the golf guys. Big week.
And Morikawa.
Dave.
Go blue.
Nice.
Listen,
Send us out,
if we
Dave.
win this game, there's no doubt who the premier institution in all college of sports is. And guess what? We can only sleep for a day because we have hockey next week, and it never ends. That's a social contract you sign when you go to Michigan. You compete for championships at all levels, at all times.
The team. There
it is.
Can the team come through tonight? We gonna see, and then we'll break it all down on tomorrow's Wake Up Barstool. Thank you so much, boys. Y'all have a great day. Best of luck, Dave. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Go Blue. I know you're all rooting for us.